All right, so quickly I want to go over this Congress FRQ with you. So it says members of Congress are charged with three primary duties: writing laws, overseeing the implementation of laws, and serving the needs of their constituents. So for Part A, you are to describe the role of each of the following in lawmaking: the Senate filibuster, the House Rules Committee, and the Conference Committee. For Part B, describe one method by which Congress exercises oversight of the executive branch. And then for Part C, explain two factors a member of Congress might consider when voting on legislation. So for Part A Senate filibuster, you needed to say something along the lines of it is the use of unlimited debate to delay a motion or a vote in the Senate. The House Rules Committee determines the schedule of the bills, how long the debate will last, and whether or not amendments can be added. And then the Conference Committee is going to reconcile differences between the House and Senate versions of a bill so that it's just one bill. So you had to have something along those lines in terms of describing each of the following in lawmaking. And to get a point for Part A, you had to have each of those correct. So for Part B, it says describe one method by which Congress exercises oversight of the executive branch. So you could have said something along the lines of Congress approves the budget. Congress has committees that can hold hearings and investigate executive branch officials for any kind of wrongdoing. Some people talked about the legislative veto. So Congress having the power to override a veto of the president. Some of you also talked about impeachment, and I want to make sure that you're kind of careful because I consider impeachment part of oversight, but some scores might consider that more of a check of the executive branch. So impeachment, I accepted. And then Part C, explain two factors a member of Congress might consider when voting on legislation. So you could have talked about their constituents. You could have said presidential persuasion, political party, information that their congressional staff gathered. Okay, so those are all examples of factors a member of Congress could consider when voting on legislation. The important things for Part B and C is those descriptions. So most of you all did well in Part A. You gave that definition and details. But in Part B, you couldn't just list an example of oversight. You needed to describe it and how that worked. And then for Part C, you couldn't just say these are two factors that Congress might consider. You had to explain them. So for example, if you used constituents as an example, you could have said something along the lines of a member of Congress might consider their constituents when voting on legislation because that could affect their chances of reelection. So they want to keep their constituents happy so that their constituents will vote for them again. So that would be a way of explaining. So if you have any questions about the FRQ or your score on the FRQ, please let me know. I'll be happy to explain it to you.